It's Thursday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hello, Mariam. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. We're doing well. Nothing
Cold?
much. Very.
Are you for real? I'm
Yes.
here feeling all hot.
Of course you are. You know your own temperature is different.
How you doing?
I've just got back temperature.
It's always been like
How is
that.
everything,
I'm
Jerry?
good. We're just trying to get the kids ready for school. They'll be resuming
That's
quite very soon, yes.
Have you started your own Nima? I've not even thought about it.
Really?
Yeah, some good mummies are just here. These perfect mamas. Okay. Hi, how you doing, Nima?
Fine now, and I'm in that mood, but unable to shop, to do anything. To sit down and
Prices are scary, so you know.
You know me, I'm at the supply end of things, so the markets are closer to, but to go to the market, I don't know how I'll be able to do it. I usually will get a day to do full day shopping for the kids, but maybe their auntie, Miriam, will fix all of that.
I've not even thought about it. That's good. School starts soon.
Soon, very soon.
Oh, my
In a few
Lord.
days.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Someone
true.
was supposed to deliver bags, and the bags have not come, and I did not even follow up. That's how full my schedule
Yeah, I know your
has been.
plate is full these days.
Yes.
How are you doing
I'll
aside
get
from that?
around. I'm grateful. I had a bit of relief yesterday from what I'm dealing with.
Yeah.
And so I'm so grateful. I've not had my birthday lunch, and I know that people that I called to join that lunch are wondering what is happening. That's if we will still have that lunch, no matter what, no matter the time. Let me just deal with this. Nobody expected that something would come up like this at this time.
So for me today, I'll be attending the final burial rites for Chief Mrs. Olukemi Nelson. She was the woman leader in Lagos State, and she was known as Yeye Shewa of the universe. You know, and I tied the gele, and I tried to get her daily. There was a video. Interestingly, I interviewed her during COVID. And where she was teaching me how to do her gele.
Yes,
God, that gele is not easy to get. So I've tried to practice it to get it for the show, but come out nice. But we'll just find a way to manage it. But it's just in honor of her today because she was a leader of leaders. She was a woman leader that many respected. I was at the Wakeupnigeriaontvc yesterday, and I mean, you could easily say 2,000 people showed up. I mean, it was really crowded. People went to pay their last respects. And I know today is also going to be the final burial rites. The family probably want to have the interment private, but you know, a lot of people will show up today, and I think it's important for us to celebrate her because she was indeed a leader. Let's go on a break now. When we come back, we go through the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're going to start with The Nation. 2023, my support is for APC candidates only, says Buhari. Lamido lacks electoral value, says Wike's aide. World Bank US commits $3 billion to Nigeria's energy transition plan. ICPC chair sans slam Judiciary for enabling corruption. Knowledge, vision, courage stand Tinubu out. Akpata, looting of materials at NBA conference, shameful. Federal government urges Canada to relax visa conditions, and excess crude account grows by $93,944 in 30 days. MTN begins trial of 5G. Yes. Okay, which story are we starting with?
Let's start with the ICPC story. So the chairman of the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, sorry, I just quickly lost my story.
Do you want me to take my...
Okay, it's fine. Professor Bolaji Owasonoye was speaking at the MBA conference happening this week at the Eco-Atlantic, and he mentioned that, you know, the judges are aiding and indulging too much of these lawyers' applications, trying to restrain anti-graft agencies from doing their job. So usually when they're investigating a person and they're inviting the person for any suspect for, you know, further questioning, the lawyers go to court and get court injunctions restraining that process, and that, you know, he thinks that is assisting corrupt people to escape investigation. And
interestingly, lots of lawyers echoed the same thing.
Yes.
So Chief Michael Zekome also said, accused the government and politicians of undermining the judiciary. They're the ones that try to go through the back door. They undermine the efforts of the judiciary. He also said judges lack the courage to give fair verdicts. So I remember I told you guys when I went to the lecture that was done in honor of my dad, a lot of lawyers said the same thing, that we don't have the judges of the past. We don't have them anymore.
Well,
they are so scared to give fair judgments. So that's what Ozekome is also saying. Femi Falana, SCN, also said judges must be firmer and stop preferential treatment they give to SANs of Nigeria. So because you're an SAN, there's a way that you are preferred over those who are also upcoming lawyers. Convener of the...
But I liked what Owasone emphasized, the role of lawyers as middlemen for suspects.
Yes.
And the role of, he mentioned a case in question where monies from such was traced to a lawyer's account where the lawyer was, trying to be a middleman between the corrupt person and the bench and the judges. So I think the lawyers too that are replying to him should check on themselves.
Yeah.
Talking about lawyers, the Nigerian Bar Association President Olumide Akpata yesterday at the dinner that he had just said, talked about the embarrassing situation that happened at the conference, the accreditation center, where lawyers went on a rampage. They vandalized the place. Is the right word, looted the materials that were there. He tried to explain what caused it, but he said he was truly embarrassed that people of their profession would be seen behaving the way that they behaved. He described the incident as a national embarrassment as some of our members conducted themselves in the most despicable manner not expected of members of our profession. I think it also had to do with the fact that the materials that they had agreed to give the lawyers, there was a particular quality that they had asked for and people had paid for, and they didn't see what they had paid for, or they were, fighting about the quality as well. But that was on one hand, and then they had a lot of people also just running rampage. It was just really an embarrassing thing to see.
Show of shame.
You got it.
Okay, so I was going to take this story. There's really not much... Garba Shehu was speaking on behalf of our president again, saying that he would only support members of the APC, and he was specifically saying to those who had decamped, those who planned to decamp, saying that obviously he's going to support only members. He will not ever do anything to undermine the party, and that he will not give anybody the grounds to reduce the chances of the APC in the coming elections. So obviously he's telling those who are planning to decamp that they shouldn't expect that he will support them in any way. I think that's pretty much that story in the major headline. But let's move on quickly now to the Punch. UK meeting PDP worries over a week. NWC meets governorship candidates. Lagos lawyer arraigned for trafficking 11-year-old girl. Strike. No end in sight, states varsity insist. Lagos logistics hub to boost 5 trillion naira food market. Don't elect incompetent leaders, Sanusi tells Nigerians. Wadume military panel clears 10 soldiers. Balarabe promoted. Okay, which story are we starting with?
I'll take former Emir of Kano, Mohammed Sanusi II, was at an event that he was chairman of. The event is organized by the Major Kudumi Foundation. And while speaking, he says that it's important that our political candidates, while they're being, for Nigerians to scrutinize their agenda, and that also the scrutiny should not be based on their ethnicity, really, but, on their competence. He also said that it's important for us to ask our political aspirants what their plans are when it comes to hospitals and education, among other, undeveloped areas in our country. He talked about the brain drain, that's happening because education, healthcare, being the basic foundation of development in the nation, it just doesn't seem like, we're doing the best for it. He talked about how the budget that has been allocated to education and health, and when you look at it, it shows that there's embezzlement and mismanagement of these funds. All these come together to, that has brought us to where we are. So when we are talking to our political aspirants, when we're asking them questions, these are the issues and not their ethnicity.
So I want to take Wadume quickly. So
God
bless Punch for this report. Punch reporter went to dig deep into the case of Wadume. So you remember that 10 military officers were supposed to have aided his escape at the time that, where 3 police officers were killed, 2 civilians were killed. And they found out that instead of court-martialing the 10 military officers, the military set up what they call a military board of inquiry to investigate, and this military board of inquiry totally absolved all 10 of them of any involvement, and even promoted the captain who was supposed to have given the order for them to budge that police transfer of Wadume to Taraba, and also found a way to get his handcuff removed without the key. And we remembered in 2019 how sensational this report was. We had almost all the details on the papers, but we found out that Wadume was only able to be charged for firearms involvement to the point that, in fact, the most frivolous of charges was what he was brought before the court for. It was in this report. The court struck count 1, which Wadume was charged with kidnapping. And because, the person that was kidnapped was not, they didn't have more facts. They didn't build on the kidnapping cases that he had. They brought him before for dealing with illegal dealings with firearms. And so the court just found him sentenced him for 7 years. Yeah. But we see that the corruption was from the very root of the matter, because the military should have court-martialed those officers involved. They didn't court-martial the captain, and they promoted him. Now he's now a major. These are the issues with the army. And so people are asking what exactly is happening. Punch also said that the President Muhammadu Buhari approved this recommendation of the military panel of inquiry. And, as if this was not serious enough. I'm so disappointed in the entire thing, the system. I mean,
it's heartbreaking. It's one of the reasons why people don't trust the system anymore.
Police officers and their families.
Really, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue with our review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. I was going to take the story from Punch, Lagos Logistics Hub to boost 5 trillion food market. I took that story, and it sounds really, really interesting because Lagos is doing some ambitious projects. According to the story, the governor performed the sod turning of the site and the facility to build 1.2 million square meters of land in K2 Erenyu area in Ekpe. According to him, it's going to be the largest food security systems and central logistics park in the sub-Saharan Africa, one of the biggest ever. According to this, it says that there are 5 components of this, which is going to be an all-year, 5-year agricultural food systems roadmap launched by the governor. When completed, the Central Food and Logistics Hub is expected to create direct wealth to more than 5 million traders in the agricultural sector. So according to what they're saying is that they're going to collapse a lot of middlemen. So many of the about 40% of farmers say that they lose about 40% of their produce. So many of these farmers now would be able to use this hub for storage systems and to ensure that they are able to feed 10 million Lagosians within 90 days in their scarcity. So it's ensuring that for 90 days, you have food, because this hub is going to be that source. I mean, this is a rather forward-thinking of not saying that just in case, because we don't want to do what happened when we lost supplies. Remember when there was no food and the southwestern governments came together and said we have to find a way to develop.
So I've seen this done in a small scale where people. There's a young man I interviewed sometime who has a storage hub where he uses solar panels to store. So even out of season fruits are available there. So I'm looking at the governor doing it large scale. So I hope that that's...
So that the hub will have a storage facility for more than 1,500 trucks daily. To provide the needs for the Lagos. He said that the Central Food Hub will also guarantee greater returns for farmers and investors in the agro-allied sector, as the facility will cut out several layers of middlemen. I would like to actually invite maybe the commissioner for the agriculture or the governor. Let's invite the governor himself.
But it's something I hope we can replicate across.
Yes, I'd like to hear, because I'd like to get the details of this hub. It would be great to have him on the show. Okay, moving on now to Daily Sun. IBB Abdusalami Dogara Babachir meet over Tinubu Shetima ticket. IPOB makes burial within 3 days of death compulsory in Southeast. Hey. Atiku Wike fight takes new turn. FEC approves 718 million naira to protect rail tracks, 20 stations, 42 billion naira roads in Northeast. Pastor, 9 others arrested for stoning or a worshipper to death. And Bianca Ojukwu suggests ways Igbo man can become president. Okay, which story are we taking?
Let me take IPOB. I love this story. It's first of all, IPOB is saying that that there's this trend where Igbo people leave their dead in mortuaries for months and even years, and that this has a spiritual implication on the land, and that so going forward, people should make sure that maximum 3 days you have buried, you have put your body to the earth. It says they say that they found the reason why people are doing this is because of some levies and fines that people that are being that customarily they have to pay, and so a lot of families who can't afford to do that have kept their bodies in this mortuary waiting until they have all these amounts of monies and levies to pay towards the burial. It says traditionally they have what they do is you put the body to the earth and then find a time where you are able to pay for these levies and for these fees instead of using, they also mentioned that they found that families, religious leaders, and other traditional whatever have made it a sort of punishment for families that they do not pay for these things before they bury their family members. Why is IPOB the one making this disgrace? Is that not government? Well, I don't... So IPOB is not government. Okay, IPOB is not government. So there's that government part, but there's also, I guess, community part. Being Igbo, we're talking to our Igbo people. So I don't know now. Now, does it make it law? That's a different thing. But I like the fact that it's talking about how long we keep our bodies in and the reason. I don't understand.
They've been prescribed.
So the point, I get the point, but I'm saying that this is that there's sense, but shouldn't this be coming from the government, not IPOB?
Well,
why are we discussing it because it's from IPOB?
There's a Monday sit at home today, and we don't know. So we're in Nigeria, we know.
The government has never legislated on this custom. This custom is choking life out of most families. We stopped it in my own place. We also have more custom like this, but we've stopped it. And burial is done.
So let me be sure I understand. So imagine I read in the papers, okay, Boko Haram says burial within 3 days there, and we now make it, oh yes, they're making sense. Does that make sense?
IPOB makes sense on this one.
Okay. So, all right. I'm just making sure that we're on the same page, because I don't understand how the IPOB is telling the community what to do. Kill the message. Okay, no problem. Sorry.
So the FEC meeting yesterday, they approved 718 million naira to provide security for the 45-kilometer rail tracks and 20 stations across the country, in the whole country. But even with this approval, the government is still saying it will be insensitive to resume the Abuja-Kaduna train services. Right. So that is on one side. But at the same FEC meeting, approval was done for 42 billion was approved for roads in the northeast, and a refund of 27.776 billion to Kebbi, Yobe, and Taraba state government for fixing federal roads. Also, there's good news for those of us in Lagos. There's an approval of 11 billion for the Mushi NMPC Apapa Oshodi road. So this road that goes through Isolo to Ejigbo, I have driven on that road and I've been wondering when will this intervention come, and so there's approval for that, and there's a completion period of 20 months. So relief will come to them very soon in Lagos. Okay, so following this, our PDP issue, Atiku has flown to London. Right now we heard that Viko is meeting with Tinubu. Obviously, that's not going down well with PDP. Atiku has since gone there. Lamido, former governor of Judiciary, is also saying that, listen, Viko doesn't have any significant political strength. So what's all this?
Influence. The
influence. So what's all this about? That by next year, his influence would have abated. So what's the big deal? But it's getting really worrisome because now they're saying that that the former vice president has gone to UK and they're quite worried about his romancing with APC. This is a problem for PDP, and I hope that they're able to resolve it at some point, because the person that's caused this problem, or that the IUM, that's the chairman, the national chairman, has called a meeting. All of them did not show. All the allies of Wike didn't show up. They were not willing to talk to him, and all the governors within themselves, they didn't show up. There was a meeting last week too that nobody showed up. They didn't show up. Yeah, so this thing, I don't understand how they're going to resolve it. Moving on quickly now to Vanguard. Let's see how much time we have. 2023, Wike will work for Tinubu, says Masari as Atiku jets out. Nigeria's economy on the verge of collapses, Sanusi. NLC calls for downward review of media operating licenses. NAN's executive jailed 1 year for 195 million naira internet fraud. Electricity discos indict FG over poor performance.
Indict everybody.
Pastor 9 others arrested over death of 25-year-old Oro worshipper. No work, no pay. You have forfeited right to salaries. Labour leaders, NECA, others tell ASU. Okay.
So NLC has called for the downward review of media operating licenses. This is because, and they say this, and they're asking for this so that it can reflect the current economic realities. They say things are tough. You know, businesses are struggling. They talk about and some of these issues that we're going through, apart from the COVID-19 lockdown. There's some things that can be blamed on government, epileptic power supply and things like that. And they're saying this because recently there has been a withdrawal of operating licenses of 52 media houses, especially television and radio media houses. And they're saying that these people would not deliberately not, you know, meet up with the fees, but things are tough. And so going forward, they should try and look at the amounts that we're charging.
So the EFCC has convicted or secured the conviction of 40 people. Amongst them is the Director of Logistics of the National Association of Nigerian Students, Federal University, Oye-Ekiti chapter. His name is Adeyemi Israel Abiodun. The court convicted him for 1 year for internet-related fraud. So simply, yahoo yahoo. My concern is how did NANS get a yahoo yahoo on their ESCO in any university, because we are talking corruption up there and we're starting it from the root up. God help us in this country.
I like how we always end any lamentation with God help us.
Because we can't help ourselves.
That's all we can take on front page review. You have an important story?
Yes.
Please.
EFCC has been grilling the commissioner, Mr. Eno Ubioti. He's the Director of Finance and Accounts of the NDDC, and this is in line with the probing or the forensic audit of NDDC. We're looking at 6 trillion naira, 25 billion naira in tax remittances that they can't find. And so in line with the investigation, he's been, the word says arrested, but in the report it doesn't say arrest. It says that they're questioning him, but they don't know if they will let him go as of the time of this report.
That's all we can take on front page review. When we come back, invite our guests, our sponsor segment. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. Join us on the show is the Business Performance Manager, First Fountain Homes Limited, Mr. Oludotun Olaomi. He'll be speaking to us about what the First Fountain Homes is all about. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
So tell us exactly about what you're doing, the new project that First Fountain Homes is giving us today.
Yes, thank you very much. First Fountain Homes Limited, of course, we're a property development company, and the goal for us is to combine luxury and functionality together. And that is exactly the concept that we are showcasing in our project at Abidjan GRA. First Fountain Court at Abidjan GRA is a smart home project. We have the 4-bedroom detached duplex, which is our phase 1 project there, and the 2-bedroom apartment at First Fountain Court. And so far, on our phase 1, which is a 4-bedroom detached duplex, we are about 99% completion of that project. The tilings are done, the fittings are done. And then for the 2-bedroom, we are carrying out necessary testing and proceeding to foundation stage, in order to begin that project. And if I should add, I mean, now the price point for this project is increasing in value. The 4-bedroom now sells a unit for 55 million, and the 2-bedroom now 32 million. Maybe in the course of the conversation, I'll tell you the implications of these prices.
Okay, what exactly? Because so we don't 32 million. My head is in there. What is the special feature of your properties?
Okay, so let me start by saying that quality. I did mention that in the 2-bedroom flat apartment, we concluded testings and all of that. So we just did the soil testing, and that is to determine what kind of foundation structure to put in place, right? So that is number one thing that is key for us, because there's no matter what you're putting in a structure or in a building, if the quality is not trusted, it will come crashing at the end of the day. That is a given. Then number two, we have green area, which is something that everybody will like these days. We have shared utility, generator, light, security, swimming pool, and then we have a whole lot of our smart functionality, smart assistant, smart recognition, your CCTV cameras, and smart locks, perimeter fencing, street lights, alarming road network.
Luxury and smart.
Luxury, smart functionalities. These are some of the things that you get to enjoy at First Fountain Court, Judiciary.
So initially you mentioned how much these flats are going for, and whether we like it or not, times are hard.
Yeah.
So people are always looking for discounts and things like that. Do you have any of those that you offer your? Okay,
so you allow me to express a little bit here. So thank you for that question. So in off-plan property sales, you see, off-plan price is always a discount position. It's always a discounted position. Let me take you back to those pricings. A 4-bedroom apartment now that is selling for 55 million. People that subscribed to that project at launch, when it was still at foundation stage, subscribed at 40 million. And in the space of 6 months, that property is selling at this stage now for 55 million. That is a wide 15 million value that those that subscribed at that point in time had gotten. Take the 2-bedroom, for example. When this launched out, it launched out at 25 million naira. And today, it is at a price point of 32 million naira. So the longer people wait to say when it is completed, 2 things will happen. It is either it is no more available at that time, or the price of entry is going to be high. And now, when you look at the situation of the economy, right, currently the inflation rate is at 19.6. And if you look at the year-to-date from December 2021 to now, that has increased by about 400 basis points, right? So, and the implication of that is that it drives the consumer price index, which is now at 12.7%. What that means for you now is that your income level is fixed, meaning that you cannot buy as much as you used to buy with your money. Now, real estate investment, property investment has been, for a long time all over the world, identified as a tool that helps in this kind of situation. So I tell people, when you hear off-plan sales, maybe somebody is asking what is off-plan property. It is your investment that you take on when the property is still under construction, because you are buying at under market value already. So which means when the construction is completed, you already stand a chance of a 30 to 35% capital gain on that property. So I tell people that are saying discount, this price now is a discounted price already, because I tell you what, next month, next week, so those that key in now, of course, you begin to track those.
So let me ask you a question.
Yes.
All these smart homes, smart this, smart that. You see, sometimes I feel like in Nigeria we are running before we can crawl. Because something go and jam, which electrician will come and fix it? Oh, you call the window, the blinds are not closing, or the fridge is not listed. So is it Baba Suraju that is going to come and help me to fix this one? I mean, who do I call? Who's the maintenance? How are you doing a smart home in the country where we have the skill set to maintain these kind of service in our country?
All right. So First Fountain Court is full packed, full package, right? Let me start from our construction. We have certified professionals. You know, before you get to maintenance of smart home, you have to first talk about the construction of it. It's not about pastorage. You have to first talk about the construction of it, right? So let's talk about the construction of it. Who are the people that are doing these things? Are there people that know what they are doing? We have certified engineers, current certified. Talk about all the certifications that you're looking for that someone who is in the construction industry should have. Those are the people that are managing our projects. Now, when I now say that it is full packed, it means that we know what is in the market, what we are presenting to people to buy. Of course, you are rest assured that the maintenance of it is also already secured, even before the project began.
Okay.
So when the window blinds are not working, when these are not working, by that time it will just be a ring, one ring, and then...
Talking about that time, so when will this property be delivered?
From September 2022...
Completed.
4-bedroom apartment, 4-bedroom detached duplex, we begin to be handed over from September. And then for the 2-bedroom flats, by July 2023, is projected. You know, it's a 12
Also, the
units.
2-bedroom is still off plan now.
It's still off plan now. And that is what makes it an interesting opportunity for property investment right now. So by then, you know, the old units would be ready. And let me say here that most of that is already going. So, I mean, it's a call to say if this is the right time to get in. 32 million. Now, talking about the ease of entry for the 2-bedroom, you get to do an initial deposit of 5 million naira and spread the balance across 12 months.
12 months. It's not easy.
Across 12 months, right? And for the 4-bedroom detached, you know, you get to do an initial deposit of 10 million and spread the balance across 3 months, right? So I mean, the time is now.
Yeah. Where's the venue? Where's this located?
It's at Abidjan GRA.
Where's that?
Yeah, so Abidjan GRA, first of all, is on the Google map. Just put First Fountain Court. It's already pinned there. You can drive down there yourself to see the massive work that is going on there. Yes, number 2 is not far from notable areas like the Lagos Business School, the Nova Mall, Lekki, you know, the British International School, the Coast Charis area, you know, that's where it is. But put it on Google map, you can drive down there yourself and you can appreciate the level of work that is being done there.
I wanted to ask for your details for how to reach you.
Yes, you can reach us. You can check us out www.firstfountainhomes.ng.
Your numbers are on the screen, right?
Yes, the numbers are on the screen, and you can give us a call, and then we'll be ready to answer you.
I want to ask you a private question, but I'll ask you during the break.
Okay.
Because you're just shining. They're paying you at that place.
I know Morayo's mind.
Let's go to a break. Let me ask you a question. You'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we love Thursdays because we get to have a lot of talk on family. So join us on the show as a guest co-host is our family life coach and counselor who teaches and empowers singles and married with godly ways of doing things. Thank you so much for joining us. With us, she's a master practitioner of neuro-linguistic programming and a results coach. Welcome with us, Nike Folagbade, to the show.
Thank you very much.
Good to have you on the show. Now, so we saw a story that was pretty interesting, and I like Nima to establish the story because it's the kind of thing Nima likes to talk about, you know, marriage issues. But in the nutshell, the man made this post. And we can say that this is from the male's perspective. You know, sometimes we're being accused of having a conversation from the female's angle. So this man is posting this. According to him, he and his wife were separated. His wife lived outside the country. And then she filed for child support for the children, assuming the man is not obviously in the picture. But here's the man, according to him, still working hard to support his family outside. And then the wife is also doesn't according in front of the law, she denigrates the man. Could you just give me the other part of the story?
This is what happened. So the man is abroad, in Europe, and in such countries they get child benefits and all of that.
Yeah.
So he relocated and did everything possible to take his family with him. So the woman got there, applied for the children's benefit, and then she applied as to her own account. She got the money herself. The man asked why, but she just sort of explained it that just their money is still for both of us, and so he allowed it while he continues to get to provide for the family, work hard and everything. She saves this money to a point and thought, no, I have so much money now. She buys the property in Nigeria, builds it, and when they had issues in the marriage and got divorced or separated, she went straight for him. That what do you have to show? For all these years of work, what do you have to show for it? Look at you, ordinary house you don't have. So this brings to issue. The person posting the tweet now brought out issues that, we have so many issues. Are we going to talk about joint on separate accounts? Are we going to talk about the goal of the union? Is it the goal of that union? With access to each other's accounts, or what the use of the benefits was for? So many other details that were not dealt with among this couple. And this brings to mind a lot of the situation of most parents in Africa here. We don't get children benefits. But you see, one daddy who is a provider, who knows how to wake up 5 a.m. every day, comes home very late at night, and mommy is the one giving the kids money. So the children think mommy gives us everything. When we want to talk to daddy, maybe because of daddy's schedule is so tight, he can't even see his children. A woman will not put that picture that, it's because of daddy that we can even, we're thriving. Won't give the children that picture. And then suddenly a separation happens. She's busy maybe because of some bitterness that they have, forgetting the role of that provider who backs and shoulders every other thing in the house. Gives the children the impression that, you see your father, I
don't want
to allow the children to grow with that impression. I have seen it. Yeah. So I could relate with this story well. This happened abroad, but this is the situation of most parents here.
So I wouldn't say most, because a lot of this is why I wouldn't say most, because a lot of mothers are the one really footing the bills in their homes today. Many of them are in reality. The narrative of daddy wakes up 5 a.m. in the morning, comes out at night, that was back then. The brothers now wake up when they choose to, they go to their work, and they have flexible. Some of them have flexible times. Some of them do it 9 to 5. Others, so it's not like back then. But the crux of this, and let me come to you as a family life coach, because these are some of the issues we deal with. As a woman, how much of the sources of our resources do we disclose to our children? I mean, is it important for us to have, because sometimes a woman always feels like this, I'm sacrificing, I'm doing a lot. And yes, you're doing some, but how do I ensure, do I have to tell my children how much the father is putting in? Or it doesn't really matter as long as they're being provided for?
I think that communication is very important in marriage, and the man and the woman should be able to decide what they want to present to their children. So when mommy is even giving the money, it is, hi, and your dad, this is what we are providing. You don't have to tell them this is the percentage, but it should not look like mommy is the one doing it.
Everything.
You understand? It should be that the both of us are doing it. Sometimes you don't even have to say who is doing it. Oh, so we have decided this is the money for your school fees, this is this, this is that.
And be very careful, because in this story, we don't know, the woman didn't tell us clearly if the man was, because we don't know, this is from the man's perspective, and I don't want to fall into that trap.
This was from an observer.
An observer.
This was an observer's perspective.
So the situation is, who says this man works, to take care of the family, but there's this benefit that comes to the wife alone. Yeah. And, during the course of the marriage, she's able to put that money aside, and she's used it to build a house. And now that has now become her property. And for me, I feel, because you said we need to talk about it from the male perspective, I would say that, first of all, when something like this happens, is unfair. It's not right, because this is supposed to be teamwork. That's what marriage is about. Yes. This is supposed to be a union. You're supposed to do it with the end goal that we're doing it for each other and for our family. Yes. So that she puts money aside to use for something else, and that she uses to mock him. That is wrong.
The husband aware that money is coming in.
Yeah,
he's aware.
He's aware.
So when she filed for the benefit, he knew.
Yes.
And he thought, no need to fight over it. We're married.
Yeah.
he didn't see the future that, you know, it will become something that he will be mocked about. So she put these monies aside. And it's the joint benefits of both of them as joint parents of these children at the time she filed. But she thought of
but she used the
wisely, thought it should come to her separately.
And I think that the fact that she even went ahead to build a house with the money means that the husband is not aware. So it feels like she also has this, you know,
so that's why I was saying that
approach.
For that it's wrong. That she did that is wrong.
Yes.
But this is not something that's just peculiar with maybe women doing it to men. Women have always, for many years, I feel that that's actually the more common story. So I'm a wife with my husband, who obviously is the breadwinner. He has more, you know, he brings more to the home. What I give in the home is I'm there to help nurture the children. Whatever he gives us, we'll take care of the house, believing that my husband and the father of this home is working for us. And then sometimes, as we know, some marriages go through their hard times and the end comes. And the wife is asked to leave with nothing because there's not one thing that we can pinpoint and say that she has done. You know, she has not built a house. She has not, you know, put up a structure. And so everything else that she's done that is not tangible that way is seen as not giving enough or that she didn't do anything. So in his own case, I feel that it's reversed. So it's not a new thing. It's just that for me, this is the first time I've heard a man being on the other side of it. And now we know how it hurts. Because usually when women talk about these things, we give so many excuses for why it should be so. You would even hear men use it to make a mockery of the wife or the woman. Just when you're leaving, just pack your bags and go. So whatever it is that you have given in that marriage all the years is nothing. Go away.
And there are two ways to even look at this thing she has done. It's very possible that the husband had a lifestyle that she was not really okay with. If a man starts to act very funny, a woman can decide that, okay, I need to safeguard my future here, so let me start to do this. She wouldn't just wake up and just start to have that secret life.
That's a possibility.
That point. And the second way around it is she might also be coming from a foundation where such happened to her mother.
Exactly.
And so she's trying to protect herself. She's not even looking at the attitude of her husband now. She's just saying, if it could happen to my mom, I would not let it happen to me.
So let me, that takes me to that talk that people give, that the parents give us, mothers give us, that, have your own, no matter what, you must divide. Not all mothers do that, but because now we know that, listen, you have to, we are a team, as you said. But there was a time where it was very, very right for parents and to tell their daughters, always keep your own. Don't say, it's not everything you tell your husband, it's not everything you see, it's not everything that you have, you must disclose. Because in future, you never know what's going to happen. My question is that, does that still hold water today? Do we still advise women to have that, where do your things in secret? Because the way things are going, tomorrow Mr. John can wake up tomorrow and say, he's done. At least you protect your children. Or do we still say, no, we have to be very, very, you have to disclose everything, you have to be transparent in your marriage, you're a team, because that's the new world, we are teams. So which one do we advise younger people who are getting into this institution of marriage? So
wisdom is, your circumstances cannot all be the same. That's what I know. But in this case, this is not a woman-man issue. This woman and many like her are very, very, I don't want to use the most negative word, are selfish women who in marriages do things like this. So she didn't approach or take her kids abroad. Her husband relocated for better life and took her abroad. The benefits that come to those children are joints to both of them. And the proceeds of whatever she did with that money is co-owned. And I hope he tested.
But for you to get a benefit, must you not come forward to say there's something like a single mother? You don't just get benefit because you're married and have children. The reason why you get a benefit is because say I need support. Either I have a deadbeat husband, he's not providing.
In some countries, it's number of kids. So for some countries, it's the number. So for some, it doesn't even matter if it's one child for joint parents. As soon as they are kids and they are of a certain age, those countries pay benefits. I know that even some Muslim countries, in Canada, they pay. And so a mother will now get that money and in 20 years, 30 years, tell the father. I see the case of, the women getting hit by men who say, you've never done anything, and I don't understand how nurturing a family can be monetized. So they don't see that work. But I see women who never give the credit to the fathers.
Okay, I see your point.
I was pregnant with my son once, and a woman was beside me. She was pregnant again. She looked okay. In the hospital, I was saying, how many? Number what is this one? She said number 5. I said, wow. Because I was on my 3rd pregnancy, 2nd child. I was like, may God give me this baby. You know, I was like, so the reason I asked was that the husband came in with the admission kit and everything for her. He looked so tattered. He looked so rough. And she was still telling him, you know, the kids at school, you have to do this. And, you know, I was like, why are you pregnant again? Why? You know, she was like, no, my mother, we like children. Like children. And so me, I've said I will have children. And she's not looking at the stress. This is a man who obviously is not like most I know. He's not one to say, don't kill me. He was doing everything. And what I observed was that his trouser pants were so torn.
It's her fault that she's pregnant.
No, I'm coming to where I'm coming. So she was talking, we're gisting, and she was like, everything is all rosy. In a joint situation, you are planning children. You are looking at the stress of it on your spouse. These are conversations that, you know, I wanted to have. But it didn't show that she was of such mindset. Yes. It didn't show at all. And I looked at her husband. I just didn't want to say, are you seeing the stress of 4 kids, now number 5 on this man? Because she said, I'm coming. See, be careful not to misunderstand. I'm not saying getting pregnant is a single decision.
I get
it's something else to have stressed that man that day.
No, something else. He will not come out of his house. You will not allow. I will never allow my husband, no matter the stress he's dealing with, leave his house in a way that is unpresentable.
But she's in the hospital. Maybe
we are talking. They came together for admission. He was downstairs getting the kids. I'm saying that the resources are already lean.
Right. Okay,
if tomorrow things are better, would that person even be able to remember that this man is stressed? Women must always play. We have a role to nurture, and it doesn't stop at just our kids. Sometimes you are the one who force the man to look different, look this way. That this road we are following is no longer paying us. We can't have 4 kids under this amount of salary. Some men are still raising their families, extended families, and then you're increasing the load, not having that conversation. It goes back to when the woman now finally finds something to do. You point out everything because of your decisions and paying school fees, and, you know, and you create bitterness for the children.
Let me come to Mariam.
So back to what she was asking. So I think there are 2 ways around. The first thing is that every couple is different. So whatever applies to your own family may not apply to another family. So I know of a family that I once counseled, and what they do is they both understand and know how much they earn every month. So they have agreed that this percentage goes into this account, into this joint, and then we have the rest to do what we like. Now, in my own house, for instance, so we already agreed, we have budget for different things, and we know how we're going to share it, right? But then everybody has their own personal account. So my husband doesn't say, how much is in your account? He doesn't ask me that. I don't also ask him. He keeps some money with me because he knows I'm more prudent and I will keep it better than him. So if I tell every couple, do it this way, what if you're insecure about your husband and your wife and all of that? Because some women are materialistic, some men are also impulse buyers, and also all of these things depends on the kind of spouse you're married to. But have a joint account for those things, and then have your personal account and build stuff together.
I mean, the coach has said it the coach way, and, you know, I agree with you completely. For many people going into marriage, at the time you're going to marriage, you're not sure who is who and how you would behave, you know, in marriage. And so I guess there has to be, for me, is what would be the basic that they should go in with. And I would say to anybody going into marriage right now, before you even understand what your weaknesses are when it comes to spending money, is that you should both have your account and you should have a joint account that you put a percentage of your money in. But also, this is talking to a young couple. We have other sort of couples where maybe the man is older or he's earning so much more that even whatever it is that you're earning makes no difference. And you find that in those sort of homes, the man or the woman, if the woman is the one that makes more of the money, does not really ask of the other spouse, what is it that you're earning, or asking of the other spouse to make any contributions. So, but for most young people, you're very young, you both just starting out in your careers, it's important that you both keep your personal accounts and have a joint account that you contribute towards for your home. And
let me go on a break. When we come back, because I wanted to also harp on what you said earlier, because let's going back to this issue of when women, especially, take advantage of what they have against their spouse. regardless of what he has done. You know, where you, so and I want us to address that, because I said we always speak a lot in favor of women, but this time around, we have to, as I say, we sometimes, where we have to speak to ourselves and think, what must we do? Yes, you might have a bitter situation with your spouse, but it's important that when it comes to the issue of resources, there's equity in what you do. The children must know how much their father is involved. Or you say because he doesn't do this, because it's not part of your life, you now make it look as if you're the sole provider, which is not fair on the spouse. And I think that's the crux of this case study we're looking at. Let's go on a break. We'll open our phone lines when we come back. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So the story we're talking about is really about people who live abroad. It's not so much about those of us here, because I got a message from a lady, Ekene Ebenua. She's saying that in Canada, you can get child care benefits based on your family's income. According to our eligibility, is based on the annual income earned as a family, whether married or unmarried couples that live together. So there are various reasons why you can get one. So the issue is that a lot of women who live abroad, when they get some of these benefits and then use it for the child. Now, should the man be unhappy that the woman is using these kind of funds probably available to build houses? Because at the end of the day, it's for your children. It's for the common goal. Yes, what you always use is for the pool, for the house. It's for your kids. It's for their growth. So why must a woman feel obligated to disclose to a man who she's probably not in a relationship with that I'm getting this benefit? Can I disagree with him and say it's not joint? We don't jointly own it. I'm the one raising these kids here in the country I'm living in, Canada, for example. I'm getting these benefits, and I choose to use it to build a house for our family in Nigeria. Why must I involve you in that? So this is another one protecting her children.
Because that's a separate
circumstance. That's a different thing now.
That's a separate circumstance. If a woman is doing it all by herself, I see no reason why she should not take credit all by herself.
But in this case, she's married, but he's in Europe, she's in a different country.
Together. He took her to Europe, and so she could get the benefit. Then they give
Let me take this call from Eva, and I'll come to you. Good morning, Eva.
Yeah.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, good morning.
Morning.
Yes. I just want to contribute a little bit. I live in London, and I practically grew up in London and had my 2 kids when I married. The benefit is meant for women who actually look after the children. The government gives it to the woman to support the children while they are in school. But some women then decide to take the money towards something. It is not mandatory that it costs the man, but he should be aware that there is an extra income coming into the house. But it also depends on the total income coming into the house. If the income is minimal, the man then might consider that extra money that is coming in, and they want to know how that money is being spent.
Exactly.
So some men might be interested in knowing, okay, that money came, you be shopping for this week. You might be able to add the 25 pounds or whatever it is. So it can be accounted for with the man, but it is not a mandatory requirement that is meant for the woman to look after her children. The government is supporting them. Now, what was discussed in your speech earlier, I agree that a couple, if both of you are working, or even if you are a trader, which is something you have to assist most Nigerian women on, you should have your own personal account that you put some money away. We don't own our lives. Anything can happen anytime. What do you fall back on if the man is not there? What immediate need? How do you deal with it? That is one. This lady we are talking about is the possibility that she's insecure in her relationship with her husband. For her to build a whole house, and the man did not know she was in a house, to keep such a secret, it means that there's something amiss here. It's either the woman is very insecure in herself, or the marriage has made her insecure. And so she's looking for security for herself and for her children. 1. 2, everybody has an ambition. She is at a certain level in her life, and she does not want situation to occur when she falls below that level. So I don't want to come to Nigeria, I don't have a roof over my head. My children have to live with people or have to rent. So let them have a place. I need to maintain this status. So that would be something. And thirdly, it could be that where she's coming from, like one of you said, she has experienced such a thing, and maybe it's very traumatic one. I can relate to that. My mother was a second woman in marriage. My father was a very rich man and had married the first wife. He simply married my mom because he needed more children, and the first wife didn't have children. And as soon as my dad died, my mom was thrown out of the house. She was thrown out of the house, but taken away from her to look after. And since then, although I knew that when I was very young, but since then I had made up my mind that I must own something for myself. And my 2 daughters, I said to them, before you even get into marriage, own your own house.
Thank you, Eva. I think this is a very good way to put everything into proper perspective. I think it makes a lot of sense. We're going to wrap up on this because I think that's good. But let's have a few words
to
before.
Quickly say, because what she's built on showed that this woman got benefit to care for the kids. It was for the children.
The government.
If she was saving it, it meant that somebody was providing what she was supposed to use those monies for. So this is a very covetous person, clearly. And that she built a house, no matter how insecure she was in that marriage, she built a house with the proceeds of money meant for those kids, while somebody else was providing for the children. She didn't own that house. That's not a hard work.
So that's where I was going to come from as well, that the reason she was able to put money aside was because needs were being met by someone else. The excuse of saying, okay, maybe she was insecure in the marriage, she saw something within the marriage, and so she decided to put money aside. Do we give men also the same justification when a man is married to a woman, and then down the line he comes up and says, oh, he has another wife, another family, another house somewhere? Would we say, oh, it's because he has been insecure with the first family and he didn't know? The thing is, in marriage, you have to be open. You need to be honest with each other.
Let me take Chief Obi and I'll come to you. Okay. Good morning, Chief Obi. Are you there?
Yes, I am here.
You're live from London. Go ahead, please.
I'm very much interested in what you're talking about joint accounts or no joint accounts.
Yeah.
You see, we live in London here, and we have some people who are very, very, who like the family union, and those who are just people. We have those who are just people. Now, from a personal experience, when I got married, I told my wife, you have to have this is not the OBE. O-B-R-E. I am not OBE. O-B-R-E.
OBE, okay, they'll change it.
O-B-R-E.
OBRE, they'll hear it.
Now, it's okay. Yeah, what some ladies are doing, like Fan F, I would say it's Fan F. What you were doing is this. Because we didn't have a joint account, I gave her my credit card with her name on it. She has her name on it. And when we take the children to the shop, at that Christmas, New Year, and birthday, so O-D-R-E. R-E, not
I-E-O-B-A. So they have a joint account, but it's her name that is on the card.
Z-I-E.
India, England. But Lima, I'm from Jeju.
I've said it already.
It's okay. It's okay, not okay. So, if we take the children to the shopping center and tell the children that their father doesn't buy anything for them because she has her name on it, I gave her the card with her name on it. She will now get to the children and tell the children that your father never buys anything. On one occasion, just to call the story short, my children came home, it was Christmas. The little one who was 5 years old said to me, Daddy, why don't you ever buy us things? I said, no, I don't buy you things. As a matter of fact, I just approved certain amount for your mother to buy you things, the three of you. She said, no, it is our mother's card that we use. I said, I gave her the card. They won't people believe because the mother told them in the shop that the card belongs to her. And that she didn't people tell them that the account, the card is having, get the money from my own account, not from a joint account. The doctor, my doctor who was about 50 years old, from that very time, started to hate me because that he never found them.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Obie. I think. So you've also put in. Yes, I get most of it. Let me come to you because you're the wife coach here, and these are stories. This is a man saying how he's trying to provide for his children, but the wife is not disclosing to the children. It's a major issue. Many of us are not going. We don't have this experience. But what are your thoughts as a coach? What would you advise in this kind of situation?
I think that in a close-knit family, there are conversations that happen where you're saying, oh, mommy bought this for me, daddy bought this for me. Because this conversation looks as if they're not together in the house. Even my little child, when I buy some things, will say, oh, mommy bought this for me. I say, no, it's not mommy that bought it. It's dad that bought it for you.
Even whether to tell now. If you did not tell,
yeah, so I think the issue here is a lot of people, a lot of spouses are selfish and have other interests in mind. So when you're not open, when you're not, the Bible says that the both of them were together and unashamed. Like, everything is open. So the moment one person has an hidden agenda, they will start to drive the conversation in another way. So how can you be taking care of your children for so long and you never let them know that this is a joint partnership? That looks like a problem.
So, a 15-year-old.
Yeah, 15-year-old.
But for the father, it would be also selfish to have to sit the children down all the time and say, I'm the one giving your mother. That's even petty. But when the mother spends money like that, usually our mothers will say, go and say thank you to your dad.
Yes.
Sometimes they'll bring things on. Mommy, thank you. Say, no, thank you to daddy as well. Sometimes you jointly present what you have bought. But if you cleverly just silent on who bought, the kids can reach assumptions on who spent, who paid.
So, Nima,
so
that's why the question is, are they married or they are not? Because when you're married, you're supposed to be...
That's why it's even painful. If it's a marriage and somebody's like this.
Yeah, so how is it a marriage if you have a hidden agenda to make the other person look bad? If you are in a marriage and you're raising children together and it's a marriage, why is it a problem to give credit to where credit is due? Why is it a problem to raise the children to appreciate both parents? Even if you feel that, oh, I don't want to mention exactly who it is that gave it. How about just that both your parents provided for you? So sometimes this marriage that we call marriage, is it really marriage or just two people coming together and saying, you know what, let's have these children, let's provide for them, and then let's move on?
Let me take this call. I'll come to you, Nick, in a second. Let me take Alaji Zubair. Good morning from Alimo Show. Good morning, sir. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Good morning.
Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you, sir. Morning to your guest. Yes. Morayo, I don't know whether your guest is an NGO, whether your guest is an NGO, I don't know. But where I'm going is this. I want the perception of women in general to raise the issue of it is only the man that is responsible to the house. That perception is causing a lot of issues. In as much as we believe husband and wife are one, the analogy of women in general, that it's only the man that is supposed to be handling the responsibility. Let me tell you something. The economy of nowadays has caused a lot of damage in the house, where some men lose their job. And in the perception, within that period, he saw the true color of the wife, where, the man becomes useless in the house, in terms of allegiance, in terms of obedience from the woman. So, and you now discover that Rome is not building and no condition is permanent. The man now bounds back. He now decided to marry another person because he saw the true color of that woman. So you see, that is why that is why I'm asking whether your guest is an NGO or not, so that they can continue to, to encourage or to make women understand, in as much as you are one, this issue of man is the only person that's supposed to be doing, the responsibilities there. So we remove entirely from the woman perspective.
That's an interesting angle. Alaji, thank you very much for taking me there. Thank you very much, because that's another interesting angle. Let me come to you, Nike, on this, because that's what many of us are raised with. That the man is the provider, the man is the provider. Once he can't provide, he's not a man. And that makes a man feel already small when they lose their job, when they're not unable to provide. And I've always said it on this show, and I think I heard it from Mrs. Ibukwa Woshika, where she said, the fact that your husband is a man, or the husband of the head of the family, is a God-ordained rule. It's not about his ability to provide or not. So the respect you give to him is because God has already made him the leader of that house, whether he provides or doesn't provide. But what the equation we are told is that it is his provision that makes him the leader. So what he's saying is that we need to take that off, because that's the thinking that we all have that even affects both the man and the women. As a family coach, when in this kind of situation where it's all about I'm the provider, and you are you must be the provider, the man is supposed to provide all the time. And when he's having difficulties providing, do you think we should see it both as it's us or he must provide, because that is the job he must do?
Okay, so I think that in a family, you should be able to have conversations on who handles this and who handles this. And whenever things go wrong, maybe the other person doesn't have it, the both of you will come together and still make that provision. And all of this is still based on communication. I think that a lot of couples are not communicating a lot. And I wanted to share another perspective. How come it looks as if mommy is the one paying for stuff? What happens if a man starts to really get involved with also nurturing their children in such a way that they can also go out to the school, go out to the shopping mall, and be a part of paying for these things right in the presence of their children? If the children grow up seeing only mommy in the kitchen, they will assume that it is wrong for a man to go into the kitchen. But if the man also steps into the kitchen, do some things, they kind of say, okay, this is like a balance. So why is it that the mother is the only one paying for these things? Why is she the only one going for PTA?
What if indeed she's the only one that's providing? What if she's the only one providing and has the money?
If she's the only one providing, yes, they should still come together and create a perspective that they want the children to see. It has to be intentional. And the way that mommy is behaving also determines what the children think.
Is that deception?
No.
Is that deception?
No, it's not deception. It's just both of you deciding, okay, what you want, how you want your children to be raised, how you would like for them to also become when they are raising their own children, when they are in their own marriages. For us, this is just one front that we have. We don't have daddy or mommy providing, we all provide. But I like the question that Alaji asked, which is, we should take, what he's saying that we should take away the idea that only men can provide. And in your response to, was sort of telling men to, that we should take away the idea that only women can
Yes,
nurture.
It has to be balanced.
So if we are saying to women, open up your minds now and realize that you can also be a provider, we're saying to fathers to open up your minds and know that you can also be a nurturer. Because we've had situations where a man is unable to provide and so has to stay home. And the woman is now in that period, understands their problem and is able to provide for them. So circumstances have changed and people have taken up maybe a different role. But the person that is now at home, because I am supposed to be provider, don't tell me to take children to school. How dare you ask me to go for PTA? I am the man of the house. I've been ordained as the man. And these other things are meant for you. So go to work, earn the money, and come back and finish up. So we need to tell each other the truth about just when circumstances change, we should fall into.
Hassan, are you there? Good morning, Hassan.
Good morning.
You're live. Go ahead. Good morning, sir.
Good morning to the members of the House. Please, Morayo, I'm seeing a disconnect here. The disconnect I'm seeing is this. People are going to marriage with distrust, with absence of love. And immediately there's no love, there will be no trust. More especially our educated women, specifically our educated women. You see, this issue of a woman trying to be in charge or to eat her cake and have it is not right. You see, the leadership of the man is ordained by God. Whether he put food on the table or something happened along the line, he could not put food on the table. All this is issue of equal rights. Equal rights. Please, let us disabuse our mind about this marriage. What you give.
Oh, we lost Hassan.
So
Go ahead, Nima.
You know, what I was saying is, we're not trying to even fight over rights. We're just saying that when a woman is providing, for instance, and she still has to do everything in the house, this causes resentment. This disrespect that happens in marriages sometimes comes from a body language that is interpreting the trauma and the pain that is going on in the marriage, where a man is just seated, watching TV, doing nothing, and she does every single thing. Now, it's not because, oh, because I'm providing, you have to do it. It has to be that we both love ourselves. We are both helping ourselves. So when we get into the marriage, even if you're the one providing the finance for this moment, you should also be able to stay with the children sometimes. I know a couple where the woman goes to work during the week, and the man stays at home with the children. During the weekends, she's home. He is out. And they both understand it. Nobody is fighting over, oh, is it because you're the one providing? They understand it as we are helping ourselves. This is how it should look like. And that does not stop the aspects of submission, respect, and love, and all of that. No, that's completely different.
Exactly. So when they say a man is the head of a family,
yeah, it's the head of
it's
the
not
family.
Necessarily, and that role of provision, because in my own background, it is legislated by God. The role of provision, because the role of nurturing, pregnancy carrying, raising children is also legislated biologically by God. A woman has to, at some point, be impeded in her success, growth, and a role to provide, because she has to carry a pregnancy and breastfeed. These are things that impede movement. Sometimes you have to be... in some countries now, it's a year maternity leave. Countries that we thought were more forward-looking are now even more forward-looking by agreeing that these rules impede women. Some women hormonally have to deal with so much, so you cannot put the role of provider on that same person who will not be able to move if the family wants to have other benefits. The role is to provide, in my own background, is for a man who must know to provide. Imagine, when I was on bed rest, what could I have done for myself? And then I took the role of provision and say, somebody said it's not necessarily about provision, it's God ordained. And I tell the person who wants to be a deadbeat father that, you don't have to be. It has to be. It's practical. And God makes no mistakes. It has to be, it's practical. A woman who has to, except the man is saying, don't worry, just express, and you go out. How many homes can that happen? How sustainable is that? I don't want to disagree with anybody, but when we look at things practically, we see clearly. In those countries now, most countries that we are now advancing to copy, women have maternities for long. Men now have maternities when the kids get to a certain age when they can be also. In Islam, women are paid to breastfeed their kids.
Wow. If
you cannot, because of your health reason, you get a nursing mother. It means that nursing a child is so important. It cannot be delegated. And so somebody has to be provided. That's why there's a Kawamuna, a man who must provide and protect his home. That role is legislated and it's practical.
So I get that. I mean, and I'm happy that it's one of the things that I appreciate and I've learned about Islam since you've been on the show is the fact that almost every single thing is illustrated in the Quran. I like the fact they give examples.
Yes.
There's no generality. They will tell you in this situation, ambiguity. Thank you, Jerry. There's no ambiguity. They are very specific, which is great. But the reason why the other narrative, where today a lot of women are providing for themselves and for their families, and because of this role they are playing, a lot of women are empowered. And that role of submitting it becomes difficult because you are the sole provider of the house and you feel like, listen, I'm in charge here. A lot of men are finding that they're finding that difficult to accept that this woman is the one in charge. So the narrative that, listen, yes, you provide, but the fact that he's the leader is still the leader, that he's ordained as a leader. So yes, don't define his role based on his ability to provide. Yes, he should provide. That should be a given. But in case he's not able to, his role as a leader is sacrosanct. That's what that perspective is saying, not disagreeing with you. That a man should provide. It's part of your job to provide. But let me not define your leadership based on what's your provision.
The disagreement is, because I was surprised it's from Alhaji Subai. The disagreement is, let's water down that it's only a man that provides. that role. So women are allowed to earn. So what you earn is your discretion. It can be a backup. You can say, okay, my own front, I want to project a united front. I have excess, I have property, I inherited, I have money from my businesses, and you can provide for your home. But the respect is that the man knows this is my role. And he doesn't say, water it down, because, you know, a woman now gets up. Because now people negotiate relationships and say, what are you bringing on the table? But nobody's negotiating, can you carry a pregnancy? Can you nurture? But that would impede. So if it's, see, imagine, Mariah, wait, this is my role. If we add a 40-60 provision, and I, during a particular period of time, have to be bed arrested, in my case, and I cannot provide, and then you are waiting for my 40%, no matter what happens.
So, okay, you wanted
So you have to be on both sides. So I want to say that. So there are some marriages where the both of them are providing. The man is earning a lot, but will pretend as if he's not earning a lot because he knows that the wife is also earning a lot. So he brings 20 and allows her to take 80. Now, somehow she gets to discover that something is happening here. And in spite of the fact that she's providing this 80, he talks to her anyhow, doesn't help, doesn't lead the home spiritually, doesn't do anything that a man should also do. Because it's not just in money. There's a lot of protection, there's a lot of stability that a man should give to a woman. The moment a woman doesn't get these things, there's just a way she just starts to feel that brings out this body language of disrespect. Now, even if a woman is providing, you see, a lot of time, men naturally just think that a woman wants to disrespect them. So they take this posture of receiving it already and ready to just give that backlash.
The worst.
There's a way you can still keep your home very stable, even when you feel like she's earning. But the moment you're always like, is that why you're talking to me? Because you're the one providing. You're already saying this is what's going to happen because that's a narrative in itself.
Let me take Adisa, come to you, Mariam. Adisa from Oshodi. Good morning, are you there? Hello, Adisa. I think we lost that call. Yes, ma'am.
So I wanted to reiterate your point as well, which is because a man has been raised to believe that his manhood or his leadershipness comes from providing for his family. When he's unable to do that, he sees it as, then I'm not the leader, or I'm not the husband, or I'm not the father in this home. So that's an insecurity that comes from there. And we need to look at it that there are two things that can happen. A woman who's also raised to believe that as well, who, when her husband now finds himself in a position where he cannot provide, she feels, well, that means you're no longer the head of this home or you're no longer the husband of this home. But then there are some people that understand that, okay, the actual financial, monetary provision I cannot give. But in the meantime, this is what I will do to make sure that our home... I've seen women that on the outside, you know, we never know anybody's full story. They're looking so beautiful. They are succeeding in their career and everything. And every time people sit them down to ask them about how they're doing it, they talk about this, their husband that is so wonderful and so supportive. When you get to meet them, you can see maybe she's the bigger earner. But she understands, she still respects him in public and in private because he still shows up for her in other ways that, you know, she couldn't have done it if that sort of man was not in her life.
Absolutely.
There are some men that will allow their women go out and earn, knowing that, and then she's able to do that confidently because she knows that her husband is at home behind her in prayer, in just making sure that the children are okay, sometimes in advice to make sure, okay, this particular meeting you're going, what are you going to say? How are we going to go about it? You know, so in that way, you're still the man of the house, and you find that you're still an integral part of that family life. They can't do without you. So don't blame the lack of submission on the fact that you are not providing money, but maybe look in and see that maybe you're the one that's so insecure about it.
I think I like this because we're also helping men in that situation to understand that they have a bigger role to play. Because many of them, actually, I see some of them, and I know that many of them always feel like, I wish I could provide more. But from what you just said, you are telling them there's so much more you can actually provide. Money is one thing. It's just one of the many things. Prayer is a huge part of it. Support, conversation, feedback to your children, talking to them, raising it. I mean, my son and husband are having this back and forth of boarding house. You know, we're now getting to that point where Elizabeth is getting to, should we do boarding, should we do day? You know, I'm voting for boarding. And it's like, listen, as long as I'm in this house, the fact that I have a job that is flexible enough, I will raise my children. Why would I say this? It's when you and I are not available that both our jobs take us away. Then you can send your child to boarding house. But as long as I am here, I wake up in the morning and I'm here and I can do my business for my table, I'll raise my child myself. So I'm still going back and forth. So that raising itself is a plus.
It's not a one person.
It's not about who's it's about who's available. And it also happened, and I've also shared this. The first 4 years of a marriage, yes, we're one income family in the beginning, and then my husband never looked at somebody that doesn't have any that doesn't earn, because he will every morning before you go out, he will pray for you, he will pray for the children, he would he will do things, he will sort things out, and you think he doesn't look as if. He stands alone, somebody who is in charge and who is in control. His countenance, the way he speaks, he's in charge. So it's not just about the monetary part, but it's one part of it, but there are other parts that makes you a man than another part. Okay.
And in addition to that is a woman who is into a business, for instance, she earns more, and she comes back home and the husband is like, oh, so how was your business? Oh, can I help you with this? Can I help you with that? It's different from a man who, when she comes back, is like, so give me money now. Don't you know you should give me money? And then when she doesn't, he starts to get angry, insult her, goes into her phone, take money, transfer it. These are the things that causes the disrespect. Because I talk to a lot of women and men too, and I see a lot of things that they complain about. My husband does not want me to even earn more than this. He will come to my phone, take my money, transfer it. How do you expect this woman to respect you?
I'll stay on that for a second. Let me take this call first. Good morning, are you there? Hello, good morning. Hello? Oh, I'm sorry, I think I'll take a few comments on social media, but I would like to go back to what you said, because managing temperament in marriage, rediscovering your identity in your marriage, that kind of situation whereby, so you are a woman, you are trying to be humble, you are earning more than your husband, you are still you're still playing that role of, he has more money, I'm the one with the money, but he's the head of the house. You still submit all your money to him. You let him do the decision. And yet, he's still treating you.
Cheating on you, doing everything
like you are, he's still maltreating you in your own home. And people are having issues dealing with this. It's a major problem, because we get these messages a lot.
Yes.
What can you say to help this kind of person?
The thing is, I think in Africa, we need to be open to counseling. Most of the time, couples just want to deal with everything by themselves. Now, when a woman
what do you know now? How many years have you done in marriage? What do you know?
Exactly.
Especially when you're so young.
You understand? But the difference it makes when someone comes and just hears something different, because all of this is really about belief system. And belief system is, a lot of traditional, religious belief system coming together. This is what makes you a man. This is what makes you a woman. You must not do this. All of these things are belief system. And that's why a lot of people do not go out for counseling, because they've also heard that it is wrong to bring a third party into the home. But then there are healthy third party like counselors who do not come in to try to lay any sentiment in any way. So sometimes you don't know enough. Go for training, read books, ask from elders and those who are doing it well. How do you solve this type of issue? And then for women, especially those who have a strong personality. Sometimes just having that natural strong personality can make a woman become a bit aggressive. So a woman must learn how to manage her temperament, the way she speaks. So if she's a choleric, for instance, or a sanguine, she has the tendency to talk very aggressively. And when she's doing that, she doesn't even know that she's being disrespectful. She's just expressing herself. And so when a man says, don't talk to me like that, that in itself increases the issue. He must sometimes understand that, okay, I know my wife has a strong personality. I'm going to caution you later because right now, but most of the time you see them trying to give it hot. And so everything just,
Scatter.
So I think that people should be open to learn.
So when you have the tools that, okay, she's a sanguine, that's why she's shouting like this. When she's calmer, we'll have the conversation.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be a woman.
Yeah,
No,
it can also be on the
women
other
that are
hand.
married to men that have strong personalities. In fact, one thing is, on the outside looking in, you might be thinking, why is this man so rude to her? Why is he bullying her? But she, that is inside, she understands the intention behind the sound of the voice.
Yeah, let me
she
take
knows
this
that this was just a teddy bear. That's how his voice just sounds.
I always say that my husband shouts. If we hear my husband talk to you, you're like, In fact, one of my husband's friends asked me, is this woman stressing your life? I mean, why are you talking to her like that? Is she a problem? Don't worry, that's just him. He's just So let me take this call from Fauza. I'll come back to you. Fauza, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Just like Niman said, I don't want to reply to that allergy. If allergy is a Muslim, you should know what God said in the deliverance. just like human soul. As the man, as the head of the family, that role given to you, being a man, there are things attached to you for you to be given that role as a man. You are a provider. You provide, you secure your home, you protect them. You should be in the workforce for a while while your family are behind you. You have a responsibility as a man. So that, I don't know, I want to say something. The reason why we are having a issue is that I'm the man. Sometimes this I'm the man of the truth. Sometimes we need to calm down and understand the other person.
All right, Fauza. Let me come to you. Don't you think this puts a lot of pressure on the man? The fact that when the Holy Quran tells you right there that you have to provide, don't you think this kind of pushes a lot of men to just do anything, just to get this money?
No, so it's not about money, so-called. When they say provision, not necessarily, those is because now everything is so monetized and paper-wise. Provision is, if you're a hunter, for instance, you go out and you bring back. If you're a farmer, you go out and you don't bring money. But now that everything has been monetized, a woman who is breastfeeding has to feed. She might not be able, I'm using that because I'm bringing it within the home. But if the woman is not breastfeeding and has a business she can do on the side and earn, some men will now say, because I'm the man, you cannot earn. She's allowed to earn because there is when that will be a backup. It's the same religion, it's the same in the Quran and all the sunnahs. But if a man thinks that, because in my custom, where I'm from, you see sometimes when you move into the other area, I don't want to mention, you see men who just sit down and women go and bring. They call them, the women and their children, part of their chattels that they can send, not considering biologically how a woman is. And then you say to her, and you, everything is me, I'm the head of this home.
Yes,
your role is to provide, to make it easy for your family to thrive. And God knows the strength He's giving you compared to the strength He's giving the other person. That's why those roles are placed that way. So a woman is allowed to do from her ease, the ease of her strength, the ease of her movement, and her safety.
Yeah.
In Islam, for instance, women are restricted from certain mixing. Women are also restricted from traveling alone for some distances, because going that far might, without our protection. Sometimes they'll say even with your son is enough protection. Going out. So there are so many rules there. The rule is not one blanket rule.
Yeah.
The way she has put it is, do not forget that as the head of the home, you are their father, their protector, their provider, and a lot of much more order. So you can't in Islam, you're not allowed to be a deadbeat.
Let me take Aya. I'll come to you, Mariam. Aya from Festa. Good morning. Are you there?
Yeah, good morning.
You're live.
Good morning, Morayo.
Good morning.
And the beautiful ladies there. I'm the tennis man that called one time before. Now, you see, this issue we're discussing, although I want you to realize that people we call mama's boy or mama's girl, they spoil them to even carry plates from the table to the kitchen is a big problem. They will expect somebody to carry for them. So we don't need to blame some men for not doing what they should do in the house.
What do we do?
My own will not allow me to cook because Olobe Luloko, that's what I always hear. Olobe Luloko. So that is it. Have it.
Olobe Luloko means that the person that
the
cooks.
woman will not allow him cook because she believes it's her role to cook. So the person that makes the food.
The literal meaning that the person who knows how to cook is one that owns the husband. That whole.
So for some, I wanted to answer on the strong personality thing. So it's not about all the time about your spouse understanding you. It's about you to understanding yourself. So I have a strong personality. And recently, there was an issue about our child. I had taken all the decisions and I informed my husband. He didn't verbally object. And he just sort of made it about a very flimsy issue. I thought, okay, I called the organizers. I said, can you provide me answers to these questions that I thought he needed answer? And I forwarded to him. And I called him later to discuss it. And he still didn't object to it verbally. So when we had that situation happen again, and I just went ahead and took the decision, he suddenly asked that, it's like in this house, I only hear, I don't get to participate in things like this. Immediately, I cautioned myself because that's a flag. You have started again because I know I don't wait for anybody to help me in any decision. I just go. I had to learn it in marriage that you're now with somebody has to approve something for you. So you immediately, please, so I brought that discussion and I reassured because I know my personality. So it's always also good for you to know yourself and don't use yourself to flag. Now, if we're having an argument, I have the tendency to raise. Once I start, I keep, my pitch starts going higher. And once I notice he says, we're not having this conversation again, I realize it might be about my speech. My pitch, I'll keep quiet. So you learn about your personality.
Let me let you come in here, Mara, because I have very little time left. Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to say about marriage and personality is that's the good thing about marriage. We're constantly growing every day and we're constantly, they say iron sharpeneth iron. So for someone with a big personality, you would tame it to the point that, it does not affect the marriage negatively. And that's just life. And then, you were talking about provision earlier when she mentioned it in as regards Islam. And you were saying, wouldn't that make men want to do anything and everything to make sure that they provide? I think what is important here is provision within your means. And also the submission for the wife would be, this is the man that you have married. This is what he's doing the best he can within his means. And you would submit to that, the situation that you have found yourself within that means. You cannot say to a man who, let's use Nima's example, who is a hunter, and say, every day bushmeat.
Yeah.
How far? Haven't you seen this person bringing in fish? Meanwhile, the other man is a fisherman. So you understand where you are and then where you need to do more. So that's where a problem happens, that you find a lot of the disagreements that happen. Right. A woman wants to do more. She wants to earn a little on the side. And then this man says, because I am the provider, you cannot earn any more on the side or you cannot try anything else on the side. This is what we must do. And then, but the demands are getting bigger. Like, it does not make sense. So if these are the provisions that you have, then everything else has to be put in consideration.
Okay, I have to wrap up. Let me come to Nike.
About capacity per time. His capacity as well as your capacity.
Let me let you have the final word on this. So, what are your closing remarks on this issue, especially going back to the original story of a woman who, as Nima said, had earned money that was supposed to be for the family and still collecting money from her husband? Obviously, she was being deceptive, and then telling the children it was all about her. You talked about communication earlier, but in closing, how would you advise families in this situation to carry this out?
Okay, so I think that every couple should understand that they are a team, and it's important to always communicate. The problem is when one partner is very difficult. When you're having conversations and the other person doesn't always want to understand, these are sometimes products of toxic belief system. So every time we find ourselves in our mind, we need to always ask ourselves, why am I acting the way that I do? Is it something I saw while I was growing up? Because upbringing, experiences, environment really affects people when they get married. A lot of time, people are living in their marriage as different people at the same time. They're living like their uncles, auntie, pastors, everybody they have met. They have carried all the belief system they've acquired, which is why premarital counseling or even postmarital counseling is very effective, because you tend to question the belief system. So why do you think this way? Where's it coming from? Why do you think it has to be this way? So wherever you are right now, sit down and ask yourself, why do I act the way that I do? What belief am I driving with? Have I healed from the things I saw my parents suffer from or what my friends suffer from? So go out and seek help, heal, and question your belief system, and then see your partner as one person with you and make decisions in that way. It's only when the other person is acting very deceptive, then sometimes you use wisdom, but not necessarily trying to pay back in the same way. I think
I like the angle you said that it's about all our belief systems, because nothing is but what we make it. And even there's a way this whole story could have been seen in a different perspective. Even the man involved could have, regardless of the fact that she built a house, interpreted it that, okay, she's building for my children. At least my children are safe. Regardless, so it's how we read and interpret this based on our belief system. So, but either way, in a nutshell, transparency in marriage is important.
It's important.
Full disclosure is important, and ensuring equity when it comes to children, letting them know that both husband and wife are participating. And I think Miriam said that it depends on the kind of picture you want to paint. Agree as a family, this is what we are painting the picture, and stick to that. And I think with that, that's all we can take on the show. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.